So let's head to Pakistan, right outside Adiala jail. There's a group of people gathered here, but it's not what you might expect. No loud chants, no fiery speeches. It's something different. There's this quiet determination, and they have a story they think the world needs to hear. So let's get into it and figure out what's really at stake here.
Wow, I mean, that quote from Major Zafar Iqbal Gondal really just sets the stage, doesn't it? Right away, you can feel the stakes. For the people gathered here, supporters of former Prime Minister Imran Khan, this isn't just about one guy in a jail cell. No way. They see this as a fight for the entire future of their country.
Okay, so here's what we're going to cover. We'll look at this protest of prayer, the blockade of the jail itself, the leader who's in isolation, and we'll hear from the crowd. Then we'll touch on this core idea of insaf and wrap up by looking at the very uncertain future.
All right, first up, a protest of prayer. This is all about turning to faith when you feel like the legal paths are just gone. Let's paint a picture of what's actually happening on the ground, because it's definitely not your typical protest.
So you get to this police barricade, right? And you're expecting maybe shouting, confrontation. But that's not what's happening at all. Instead, supporters of Imran Khan are just sitting. They've opened the Quran and are reciting verses together. It's this incredibly powerful, quiet form of protest. It's super personal, but at the same time, it's intensely political.
And this quote from Samavia Tahir really gets to the why. She says they're asking Allah for mercy because their only remaining power is the Lord Almighty. You know, this really shows that they feel like they've hit a wall. They believe every other option, every legal avenue, has been shut down. So for them, this is all that's left, an appeal to a higher power.
Okay, so that leads us right to the core issue, the reason they're all here today. It boils down to this huge disconnect between what a court has said should happen and what's actually happening on the ground. And check this out. On one side, you've got a high court order. It's super specific. Imran Khan is approved for 24 visits a week. 6 family members, 6 relatives, 6 lawyers, and 6 party members. Pretty clear, right? But then you have the reality on the ground. Total blockade. The very people who have a legal right to see him are being stopped at barricades, nowhere near the jail. All visits? Denied. So this blockade, this denial of visits, it's all part of a bigger picture. The protesters use a very specific and frankly a very heavy term to describe what's happening to Imran Khan inside that jail. That term is qaid tanhai. It means solitary confinement. And in their eyes, that is the most severe punishment you can get in jail. It's not just some legal jargon to them. They see it as a form of psychological torture. And you know, blocking those court-ordered visits, that's a huge part of how it's being enforced. And get this hasn't just been for a few days. According to the protesters, he's been in isolation for 72 days. 72! That number has become this symbol. For them, it represents what they see as the government's cruelty and, honestly, its complete disregard for the rule of law. So, someone like Major Gondal believes the whole point of this isolation is to break Imran Khan psychologically, but he's also absolutely convinced it's not going to work. Why? Because, as he puts it, Khan has risen above things like wealth or fame. They see him as a man driven by a cause, not by personal gain, and they're certain you just can't break a person like that. But, you know, to really get what's going on here, we have to listen to the voices in the crowd. Their reasons for being here are, well, they're a mix of the deeply political and the intensely personal.
And that political anger, man, you can feel it. You hear this phrase over and over, a Form 47 government. Now, Form 47 refers to the official election result forms that they claim were totally manipulated. For these protesters, this isn't just some boring piece of paperwork. It's the smoking gun. It's the proof that the election was stolen from them, and it just fuels this massive sense of injustice.
And then you have stories like this. A mother steps up and shares this absolutely heartbreaking story. She says she has 2 disabled children, her husband is disabled, she's disabled. And for her, this is not about politics in the abstract. She says that under Imran Khan, she had hope. And now, she says there's nothing. She's literally connecting her family's survival to the man sitting inside that jail. It's incredibly powerful. So you've got all these different threads, right? The blocked visits, the solitary confinement, the election anger, the personal struggles. They all come together and point to one single powerful idea for these folks. And that idea is insaf.
So, insaf is the Urdu word for justice, but it's so much more than that for this movement. It's not just about what happens in a courtroom. It's about a bigger idea of fairness, of righteousness, of a society that actually works for everybody. They believe insaf is the absolute bedrock of a prosperous Pakistan.
And listen to this protester. He connects insaf to a historical peak, arguing that justice is the one thing you absolutely have to have for a country to progress. Without it, he says, the country is just doomed. So in their minds, this fight for Imran Khan isn't just about one person. It's a fight for insaf for the entire nation.
Okay, so let's just quickly pull it all together. What's fueling this whole thing? Well, it's a powerful mix. You've got their leader in prolonged solitary confinement, you have a high court order being completely ignored, you have serious allegations of a stolen election, and underneath it all is this deep gut feeling that the core principle of justice, of insaf, has just been thrown out the window.
Which of course brings us to the big question. What happens now? Where does this all go? If those barricades stay up and the visits continue to be blocked, what's the next move for these protesters?
Well, they've been pretty clear about it. They're warning that if things don't change, this quiet protest is going to escalate. They're talking about a nationwide street movement. And, going from a peaceful prayer gathering to that would be a huge, huge shift.
What's really interesting is how the supporters see all this. They don't look at the blockade and see a government that's strong. Not at all. They see a government that's afraid. And the question they keep asking is, well, it's a good one. Why are you so scared of one man who's already locked up?
And that's really the question that hangs over all of this, isn't it? What's happening outside Ayala jail, it's about more than just one politician or one protest. It really makes you think about a much bigger question for any society. What happens when a big chunk of your population believes the courts are being ignored and their votes don't count? What does the future look like when people feel their only options left are prayer on a roadside and protest in the street?